Hi, it's Chris Watkin here with Miles Shipside, who's the Commercial Director to Rightmove. Miles, do you think Rightmove offers good value for money for agents?
I'm bound to say yes.
Of course you are.
But in reality, if agents use all the facets of Rightmove, that's not just answering leads, looking for all those business opportunities and leads, but all the data, really making themselves stand out on Rightmove. Lots of consumers are looking at it, and how you look on Rightmove, and how you use the facts and figures on Rightmove, and really make the most of those leads, really can set you apart from the competition.
Have you got some tips, some quick win tips that you notice at Rightmove HQ where you think, God, if they just did this, this and this, it would make Rightmove so much sing better for the agents?
Well, here we are at Arla.
Yeah.
One of the top tips, particularly for properties sticking, after a week, reduce it by a minimum of 2%, and then it goes out on the Rightmove mailing list again.
There you go. So it has to be 2% for it to show a reduction.
2% reduction to go on the mailing list. And the great thing is, a landlord is often going to be willing to say, yeah, I'll reduce it just by 2%.
And that's both resi sales and lettings.
It is. And I had a property, £675. Letting agent said to the landlord after a week, reduce it by 15 quid a month, and they got a let the next week.
Excellent. Any other hot tips for the agents out there?
Hot tips. It's a tougher market in some parts of the country, on the sales side and on the letting side. Obviously, pricing a property correctly, but reviewing it regularly. Marketing report on Rightmove. You can see the amount of interest that the property is generating. Do a review quickly, get a price reduction in quickly. These are facts and stats that don't lie. As consumers looking on Rightmove at individual properties, put that in front of your seller or landlord and get a property reduced to the right price.
Do you think agents don't use the stats that Rightmove give them to their best advantage then?
We look at the stats, the number of people that access the Intel area, and whilst it's quite high, there's a lot of agents that don't go in there often enough or use it religiously.
I think you've hit the nail on the head in terms of that stats don't lie. If you can actually show some real stats that show that the property's not getting movement but other properties are, it's a win-win situation, because then the agent will get the property away and the landlord or the homeowner gets the property sold or let. Any other hot tips or extra services that you think offer great value for money? And I know you're biased, but
it's getting those basics right. Proper photography. It doesn't have to be a professional photographer, but getting the basics right, exciting description, and great photography. Not oodles and oodles of photos. You can overkill it, so
yep.
You want to keep a little bit back sometimes. And if there's a property with 140 odd photos, is the consumer really going to look through them all?
Do you think Rightmove offers good value for money for agents? I mean, let's be honest, prices have gone up a lot more than inflation.
The internet's grown, consumers looking at Rightmove in greater and greater numbers. Rightmove is a great marketplace, and marketing not only your properties but your brand gets you in front of your target audience of consumers.
I mean, let's be honest, can you believe it? Miles used to be my boss's boss about 18, 19 years ago. He hasn't changed a bit. In fact, he's smoother than he is. He's smoother now than he was then, and he was smooth then. But anyway, beside the point. In the good old days, we were spending £250 a week on newspaper advertising. So that was, £1,000, and that was £1,000 20 years ago, which is probably worth £2,000 now. So the average is around £900,000 a month. The average consumer, as consumer being the agent, still good value for money, isn't it?
Lovely to hear you say that.
I think it is. I genuinely believe it is damn good value for money, and as long as agents use it well. Don't you? Well, of course you're going to agree, aren't you?
Thank you. And I think, newspaper advertising, a lot of agents have stopped it altogether. Some still spend money on newspaper advertising. It can be brand awareness, but using Rightmove properly, a lot more flexible than newspapers and better value for money, as you say.
Indeed. Miles, thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks very much. Cheers.